So I asked you guys over on Twitter, you should follow me, what the best loadouts are in your opinion on Apex Legends Season 11, and it's fair to say I got a couple of replies. So in this video, I'm going to be reviewing your best loadouts in Apex Legends, and if you want to see a series made out of this, drop 2,500 likes on this video and comment, Ashton, just shoot me already, and I'll do it. I swear. And of course, a quick thank you to EA for sponsoring today's video. Thank you, EA. Thank you. So our first loadout to test comes from Kuro FPS over on Twitter, who says turbocharged devotion plus L-Star. Now before we get into even testing and reviewing this loadout, I just want to give it an award for being undoubtedly the most goblin-friendly loadout I have ever heard of in my life. Like, who even... I don't think I've ever seen someone use this loadout before. But as disgusting and dirty as it made me feel, I had a duty to test out this loadout for you guys, because who knows, maybe it's the hidden best loadout in the entirety of Apex. So I set off on my journey to test this loadout, and after 5 minutes, I knew exactly what was in store. This thing feels like you're using some kind of lawnmower, and every other player in the lobby is just a blade of grass. And when I say this thing, it's because you might as well just refer to the Devotion and the L-Star as the same gun, because let's keep it real, neither of them stop firing ever. They just keep firing. When it comes to long range, you have basically no chance of hitting anyone. In fact, I'd say you probably have more chance of packing Diffuse Heirloom than doing any significant damage at range with either of these guns. But when you're up close and personal, of course, you're going to be a force to be reckoned with, even if no one likes you. Objectively, this loadout is pretty gross to use because it both consumes loads of energy ammo and doesn't really have any range to it. I mean, apart from when you're up close, like we previously said, it's kind of useless at mid to long range. I mean, you can just about make it work at mid range, but it's not great. And because you got to find a turbocharger to make the Devotion even fun to use in the slightest, I'm gonna give this whole loadout a goblin out of 5. I'm not giving it any stars, it's just getting a goblin. XNovaMW on Twitter suggests the R9 plus the Wingman as the best loadout in Apex Season 11, and this loadout, I would say, is a loadout that can make you feel like the best player in the game, or the worst, or probably both in the same game multiple times, because once you hit that R9 one clip, oh, you're feeling juicy, you're feeling fine. When you hit that double headshot on the Wingman, you're feeling like you're the best player in the game, but then the next guy who comes up, you just can't hit anything. Like, you're just awful at the game. Like please, just hit him. Just... thank you. I will say this loadout is a lot of fun to use if you're a run and gun type of player, and the Wingman offers you a little bit of range as well, so mid-range and potentially even long range is just about doable with this loadout. And for anyone looking to try this loadout in game, it's pretty easy to find. All you've got to do is go to streamer building and find the closest TTV Wraith, or of course just look for a low level Octane player who probably inted on their own and died and left the game instantly. This also happens to be the loadout that most people choose when doing 1v1s in the firing range, so you'd think people would be pretty good with it by now, but no, we just still suck. All of us. We all suck. Just admit it. Overall though, this loadout did perform pretty well for me and was a bunch of fun, even if I did make myself feel absolutely terrible for every Wingman shot I missed, which was quite a few. And so I'm going to give this loadout a 3.5 stars out of 5, which is a very, very nice rating. The Volt and the Flatline is a weapon combination which was suggested a few times, we could say, over the course of this Twitter post, but Kofel post here was the one I picked out. No reason really, just... yeah. And I've got to say, before even going to Twitter, I knew this was going to be the most popular loadout this season, because for a lot of people, including myself, it might be the best loadout in Apex right now. The Flatline is undoubtedly everyone's favorite gun right now, and now that people have had a little bit of time to learn it and get used to that weird recoil pattern that Bangalore says is like a mule or something, something like that. People have finally worked out this season, more than any other season, that the Flatline is just a little bit outrageous, especially when you get an extended mag on it. Just the potential damage output is really high. Now partner that with a trusty, reliable sidekick like the Volt SMG, which has basically 0 recoil as it is, and also a really high damage output, and you're going to be having a good time, especially if you're on the roller. Shout out to all my roller players. And even for someone like me who has not yet mastered the recoil pattern of the Flatline and still struggles at mid to long ranges, I still find this loadout to be a lot of fun, and it's easy to drop high kill, high damage games with it when you have such reliable guns. Yeah, I don't really have any memes about this loadout. It's just really really good. For me, right now in Season 11, it gets a 4.5 out of 5, simply because the Flatline could be a little bit easier to use for a lot of us, but it's just outrageous. So yeah, 4.5 out of 5 for the Flatline plus the Volt. And there it is. 2 times Rampage. We all knew it was coming, and of course, it's my good friend and first-time stream viewer. You can find me over on Twitch TV/simply_ashton, by the way. Cloudstrafe has suggested 2 times Rampage and a load of other stuff about thermites and fuse. Like, no. I'm not that much of a sad man. I do have some dignity left in. Yes, I don't really, but yeah. The double Rampage loadout was the next one up on the list for me to test, and honestly, it wasn't as bad as I thought. It was way worse. For everyone else in the lobby, I was having a great time. I didn't even have to take my hands off the trigger when I was in a fight with 3 people. I could just keep shooting, and people they just don't know what to do, because the bullets, they just never stop coming, and they don't know how to peek, so they just peek into my bullets, and then they just die. So yeah, like, it just takes all need for aim and accuracy out of the game, and I could just walk around holding the trigger, having a jolly old time, and win the game. It was quite perfect, actually. Long range, tick. Mid range, tick. Close range, tick, but it's a bit iffy sometimes. And if you do go the extra mile and pick fuse and just grab all those thermites and maybe get a Loba on the team so you can get even more thermites, then I'm sorry for the rest of the lobby, really. To be clear, I am not promoting anyone using this loadout. I hope nobody uses this loadout. Please, if you are listening to this, do not use this loadout. And so when racing this loadout, I can only possibly give it a please don't use it out of 5. I think that's the perfect rating for this loadout. And last but certainly not least, on the list of loadouts that we tested in this video, we have a loadout from TTV Kaloham, who suggested the Wingman and the Mozambique. On paper, it sounds a bit weird, I know. And I was thinking the same thing. I actually have this written down on my notepad in front of me as a meme loadout, because I have like the serious loadouts and the meme loadouts that people have written, but it ended up not being a meme. The meme in this story is me, because this loadout was slapping for me. I was absolutely going ham using this loadout of the Wingman and the Mozambique, and maybe I thought to myself for a minute, TTV Kaloham might be onto something. Weirdly enough, the Wingman and the Mozambique kinda complement each other quite well. The Mozambique is no longer a joke. A lot of people seem to not understand this at this point, but the Mozambique is very, very good, especially if you manage to get a shotgun bolt on it. It can deal some serious damage. In a lot of situations, the Wingman is going to hit for the same amount of damage that a Mozambique is going to hit for, because they both hit for 45, and weirdly, it's kind of like running 2 Wingmen, but the Mozambique is just better at close range. I was seriously surprised at how easy I was winning my 1v2s in duos with this loadout. I actually had a bunch of fun, and I'm gonna give it a 4 out of 5. Like, don't run it in ranked or anything, but this is fun, this is good, I enjoyed myself, and I suggest you try running it too, because it's not bad. I'll see you guys in the next one, where we go over the final edition of the Apex Legends stereotypes. I'll see you then. Take it easy.